Okay, so I'm going to pick up where I left off. So to solve the proportion here, I'm going to cross multiply once my computer decides to catch up with me. There we go. So I'm going to multiply 2x times 3x. And that's equal to 12 times 32. So I'm writing it out like that so we can make sure that we actually do this right. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared, so I get 6x squared. 12 times 32 is 384. So I divide both sides by 6. X squared equals 64, which means x does not equal 8. X equals plus or minus 8. This is just pure math here. All right, so I cross multiply here, and I get z minus 1 times z minus 1, which is also z minus 1 squared, by the way, equals 4 times 36. So this is going to give me z squared minus 2z plus 1 equals 4 times 36, which is 144. So that means that z squared minus 2z plus, nope, plus 1, because I want to subtract that over here, minus 143 equals 0. Okay, so I have a quadratic. I need to factor it. I know that this is z. I know that this is z. This is negative, which means the signs are opposite, so I have a plus and a minus. So I need two numbers that are going to multiply to give me 143 and subtract to give me 2. All right, so I'm going to start with my list. Well, 1 and 143. Well, that doesn't work. It's not an even number, so 2 doesn't work. Is it divisible by 3? No. So if it's not divisible by 2, it's not going to be divisible by any even number. So 4, 6, 8, none of the rest of them even matter. So 3 doesn't work. I can go ahead and jump to 5. That doesn't work. 7, 2, nope, 7's not going to work. 9, well, if 3 doesn't work, 9's not going to work. 11, is 143 divisible by 11? Looks like 11 can go in there once with 3 left over. So, yep, looks like 11 works. So 11 goes into 14 once with 3 left over. And so that gives me 33. So it's 11 and 13. So then I can't try 12. So then the next thing's 13. I'm right back around to the beginning. So these are my only two options. So if I subtract these two, I don't get 2. I subtract these two, I get 2. And I need it to be a negative 2, which means my bigger number needs to be negative. So here are my two factors. So then when I solve this, I get z equals a negative 11 and z equals 13. And I have two answers because there's no context to this, so it's just, it is what it is. All right. Here, cross multiply. 80 times x is 80x. That's equal to 2 times 120, which is 240. So x equals 3. Cross multiply here. I'm going to get x plus 3 times x minus 3. And that's equal to 5 times 8, which is 40. Okay, so when I multiply these together, x times x is x squared. Then x times a negative 3 is going to be minus 3x. Then 3 times x is a positive 3x. 3 times a negative 3 is minus 9 equals 40. When I combine my like terms here, I get x squared minus 9 equals 40. But not because I get to just multiply the first ones and the last ones. That is not what's happening there. This gives me then x squared equals 49, which means that x equals plus or minus 7. All right, next page. The apartment building is 90 feet tall and 55 feet wide. The scale model of this building is 11 inches wide. How tall is the scale model of the building? Okay, it does not get much easier than this, right? So here's my apartment building. It is 90 feet tall. It is 55 feet wide. Here's the scale model. It is 11 inches wide. And I want to know how tall is it in inches. So this is just a proportion, right? So 90 corresponds to x. So 90 over x is equal to 55 over 11. So you can cross multiply if you want to, but I would suggest we reduce this first and get 90 over x equals 55 over 11 reduces to 5, so make that 5 over 1. So this gives me 5x equals 90. So x equals, 5 goes into 9 once with 4 left over, so it would be 18. So I get that x is 18, so I can say then that my answer is 18 inches tall. All right, so here I'm going to determine whether or not they are similar. If so, we're going to write a similarity ratio and a similarity statement. Okay, so I got a lot of options here. This is actually one of the problems from like showing that it's similar using everything. We have some shortcuts, so you wouldn't necessarily have to use everything, and show all 6 pieces. I'm going to, though, just so that you can kind of see what would be expected of you. Like I could use side, side, side. I could use side, angle, side. I could use angle, angle. I'm just going to go through the whole thing so that you see all the different parts, because depending on the problem, you might have to use some of it and not the other, or whatever, but that way you can see it all. All right, so what I know here is that I can show that my sides are all proportional. So since I have all 3 side lengths on each, I can put the biggest with the biggest and the smallest with the smallest. So I'll start with UV. So UV corresponds to XY, and so that would be equal to 24 over 12, which reduces to 2 over 1. And then the smallest is UT. It corresponds to the smallest over here, which is XW. That gives me 12 over 6, which reduces to 2 over 1. And then the ones I have left are TV and WY. So that gives me 20 over 10, which reduces to 2 over 1. Okay, so that shows that all 3 sets of sides are proportional. So that is enough to say that they're similar by side, side, side. But we're also going to talk about the angles. I know that angle U is congruent to angle X. That was just given to me. I know that angle V is congruent to angle Y. That was also given to me. And I know that angle T is congruent to angle W by the third angle theorem. So they are similar, and since it's TUV to WXY, similarity ratio means this one has to be on top. So it's 2 to 1. Similarity statement is that triangle TUV is similar to triangle WXY. All right, if 84 is divided into 3 parts in the ratio 3 to 5 to 6, what is the sum of the smallest and largest part? Okay, so I have a ratio, 3 to 5 to 6. So remember, all the ratio stuff, you just put x's on it. So there's 3 parts. The 3 parts are 3x, 5x, and 6x, and they have to add up to give me 84. So this is going to be 8 and 6, which is 14x, equals 84. So x equals 6. Totally not my answer, because I want the sum of the smallest and largest parts. So this part and this part. So 3 times 6 plus 6 times 6. So this is 18 plus 36, which means my answer is 54.